Wow, I just realized I did that whole first segment without the mic on. I apologize. That was terrible. You guys heard absolutely nothing I said, I'm assuming. Um, wow. All right. Let me start that over and let me apologize. What's up? We are jumping into this slate today. Adam, can you hear me now? Can't hear myself. Check. All right. Sorry about that. So let me go over everything I just said again. Starting off at the point guard position, my favorite play of the day is Kemba Walker. He is coming in at 8K on FanDuel. He is someone I thoroughly like, and I'm going to play a lot of tonight. Um, he is also he's my favorite play of the day. He's going up against it's fast paced matchup. Coming in next, we have Steph Curry. Steph Curry is going to be your late night hammer point guard. He's coming in at 9.5, I believe. Yep, 9.5. Was right on that. He's coming in at 9.5. He's a guy that I'm gonna like. I'm gonna have some exposure to. I feel like he gets up for those big point guard matchups going up against John Wall tonight. I got a little bit of Murray action as well in DeJounte Murray and Jamal Murray. The only thing that scares me with DeJounte a little bit is his minute split with Patty Mills, and I feel like Pop could play the hot hand there. It seems to be a pretty even split so far, but you never know with Pop. That's why he became a verb, and we get popped every once in a while. Some other guys I like. Westbrook's always in play as well. I know I was off of him last time we talked, and he put up that trip dip. But we're not going to see those trip dips as much as we are. And he's at 11.5. And there's a bunch of other higher priced guys that I like that I'd rather get in a couple of those. It's the same issue I'm having with Harden, but I have to get Harden in a lineup tonight. It's not an option. I have to force him into at least one. I'm forcing him into one. I don't know if I'll be forcing Westbrook into a lineup. I just want his price to come down some from what it was. And if you guys have any questions for me, please let me know in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Once again, I apologize that you guys could not hear me for the first part of the show. That will not happen again. As you guys can see, I got a better setup here. I got a new cam in front of me. You guys saw the mic here. It came in on Monday. I wasn't going to use it on Monday, so we used it for Tuesday, and we used it for Wednesday's show and Thursday show as well. So we're stepping up in the world here, and on Wednesday, that's something else you didn't hear. Wednesday we had a good night. Last night I had a good night. I also want to apologize really quick for not getting the DFS Today podcast out. If you guys watched last night's show with myself and Jake, I did have some family stuff come up. Not going to get into that. Maybe we can talk about that another day. But everything's good to go. Just was unable to get that show. Unable to get that show up. I'm gonna try to turn. I'm still gonna try to. I'm gonna try to turn something out for you one of these other days here, whether it's tomorrow or if it's Sunday. I'm gonna try to make that up to you guys. Into this to this thing here. Some GPP point guards I like. Jarrett Jackson play on DK. He's also was announced in the starting lineup. DeLon Wright. He's not someone I'm going to be playing, but the numbers say I should. But he's a GPP only guy for me. You got Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's doing Kyle Lowry things. Lonzo Ball is someone I like a little bit more than Kyle Lowry. He's cash game or GPP viable. He's playing high 30 minutes. And this guy's just, it's more of a gut play. But price-wise, he makes sense as well to play over Lowry because he's cheaper, and I feel like they're comparable. And John Wall's in play as well. One thing really quick is the Wizards Golden State game is about 10 points higher than any other team. My issue is with the Wizards, all at the top of their price range. So those guys right now, price they are. Continuing on here through my cheat sheet here that I do every day. I have coming in at shooting guard position. My favorite shooting guard of the day is Eric Gordon. I'm trying to get him in as many lineups as possible. Unfortunately, they're starting to catch up to what he does. And when I refer to this, what I'm doing here is I'm giving you guys each play from each as far as pricing wise. Eric Gordon's starting to shoot up towards the more expensive tier. So that's where I'm putting him today, and not really mid tier. He's at 71 on FanDuel. He's very viable, but I like him more than I like Harden because Harden is expensive, and I really like. So there's two power forwards that I really like, and then also a small forward. I feel like Durant's a must play, because small forward's miserable. So Eric Gordon, and then we have Harden coming in behind him, and Gary Harris coming in at 5K. I feel like he's really underpriced today. I think going up against Atlanta, I think we can see them smash that team. I think it's a 7.5-point spread, which means that game can stay close. It's a paced up game. So let's continue on here through coming in that tier where you can kind of play them either way is I like Danny Green and Manu as well. I like Manu due to the price. He's a cash game lock for me. He doesn't have to be a cash game lock for you, but I'm going really kind of stars and scrubs. It's been working for me. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. Jeremy Lamb's all right tonight. I'm a little worried about his minutes, though, with MKG back. Out there that they're not going to be playing MKG a lot. His price is getting up. He had a great game last game, but I'm still a little worried. Thompson is in play on Klay Thompson is in play for GPPs. Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. Like I said, most of these guys in this Golden State Wizards game, pretty much everyone's going to be in play from that game. But I just don't know as much as I do Golden State because they're at the top of that price range. It's a West Coast trip. Yeah, they've been there for a few days, but moving over to the shooting guard position, this is ugly. Describe top play of the day is Kevin Durant. DeMarre Carroll is a really good play as well. Plays on the fastest paced team. He's a veteran leader on that team. He's going to put up the shots. He's going to get you rebounds. He's going to do everything that you can ask. Moving down here a little bit, I like PJ Tucker with I took a pill and a visa still out. Iggy's in play a little bit. And if you're looking for some GPP flyers, Alan Crabb, and then we have the Jonathan Simmons revenge narrative as well. For shooting guard really boring. This next position, though, I like a lot. Be high on as you guys saw if you looked on the site, cover board for today's show for today's post was none other than Kristaps Porzingis game, and I know I recommended him. I still cashed with him in almost all my lineups, so you should have too if you were playing GPPs. So with Kristaps as my top play of the day, I'm going really heavy in my cash games, and then the other two guys that I'm playing in my cash at shooting guard because I decided to not go all crazy today like I did on Wednesday. Like I told you guys, I switched everything from playing cash to playing just GPP. Is LaMarcus Aldridge and Draymond Green. So you have a guy at 9K. 8.2K, and they are kind of the only guys I'm really considering, except for in GPPs. You will see me with a little bit of Frank the Tank, some Mike Beasley, and some Ryan Anderson. Sneak into one of my cash game lineups. I'm going 2-2. I'm going 1-1, and I'm splitting up my cash games between the two lineups. Some other guys that I feel like are decent plays today: Serge Ibaka. Then we also have, this guy just recently stuck out to me the more I was looking over some numbers, is Melo. I feel like Melo's really underrated. I feel like we're going to get him in a low percentage. He's jacking up the shots. He's pulling down the rebounds. He's doing everything that you want Melo to do. Other guy, I hate this guy. Like he's going to have a decent game. Is Rondé Hollis Jefferson. I hate RHJ. He burned me so many times last year. It's hard to forget the past, but sometimes you have to. Yeah, about that pretty much wraps up the power forward position. Else, any questions out there, guys? Anything at all? Try not to hit me up on Twitter during the show if you guys have me on Twitter. That's happened. That happened a few times, and I felt bad because I didn't get back to some of our subs while the show was going on. I really try not to check my phone during the show. Man, the show was a lot. I like Dre a lot, by the way. I think I'm going to have him back next week, probably on Wednesday and hopefully next Friday. And if he can jump in on Monday too, that works for me. I'm going to reach out to him, try to set something up with him as well. Moving over to the center position. Favorite center play of the day is Potele. I said his name wrong. I'm going to call him Poe. The center for Toronto, Poe. He's my favorite play of the day. He helps me get in. He helps me get in these more expensive guys. He has done everything that I could have asked for as far as a cheap center can do. Moving on, continuing on with the center position. The expensive guy that I like today, because they kind of have, Melo and Adams has been playing out of his mind, but Karl Anthony Towns, he's going to do what Karl Anthony Towns does, regardless of if Butler's back or not. I have yet to see anything on that. I am getting ready to pull up the Twitter machine here to see if anything comes through. A little bit of the news with a little bit of unsureness there as far as Damari Carroll, I'm sorry, D'Angelo Russell. If D'Angelo Russell sits, I like Dinwiddie tonight. I have yet to see anything on D'Angelo Russell for sure. If anybody has seen if he's in or out, please do let me know about that, because it's a little difficult for me to kind of keep up with the news. So I try to do that as good as I can. I'm just scrolling through timeline really quick to see if I see anything. One thing I do like to do is I do like to have the Hoop Ball Twitter up as well, because we are really good at getting the news out as quickly as we possibly can. So yeah, I still don't see anything on that yet. It's kind of a big deal as well. Like I said before, Jarrett Jackson, the rotation. Let me jump back in here. I kind of go all over the place. You guys should be used to that by now. Let me go back in here to the center position. Some other guys that are cash game worthy, Dwight Howard. And I think Jokic is still cash game worthy. We saw what he did last year at the end of the season. Yes, he's off to a rough start. 2 games ago, though, we saw what he did. He put up his normal stat line. We've had 2 really odd games, no assist in one, no points in the other. We know that that's not going to happen. We know that this is something that's a little odd, right? At least I think it's odd. Excuse me. That kind of wraps up the position by position breakdown. I'm going to run through it again one more time like I always do, because I know I talk really fast when I'm on here by myself. Give you guys the top player in each kind of tech category. Kemba at point. Eric Gordon at shooting guard. Durant at small forward. The unicorn at power forward, and he's the top overall play of the day. He will be in at least 90% of my lineups. And then at center, my boy Poe. That was what I called him last time I was on the show with you guys. He put up a great game. So let's just stick with Poe. Poe is going to do what Poe should do. Um, second kind of guy that I would really like to get in if I can fit it in would be Steph Curry at point guard. I like Gary Harris. The more I look at price and everything, I like Gary Harris a little bit more than Harden. But if I'm going expensive at shooting guard, I'm putting Harden in there. I told you guys I'm forcing him into at least one lineup. Carroll, it's probably going to be Durant and Carroll at shooting guard for me in almost all my lineups. I don't expect that to be any different, to be honest with you. Maybe sprinkling some TJ Tucker and probably a little bit of Mike Beasley and GPPs. But that's about it as far as that. Moving over to power forward, my top three guys. Well, told you Porzingis is my top play of the day. And then we have, yeah. So we're kind of, like I said, I'm going through each thing. Sorry, guys, it's been a really long day. So and then we have LaMarcus Aldridge and Draymond Green at the power forward position, with Frank the Tank and a little bit of Ryan Anderson as well. But I'm personally staying up in the top three with Porzingis, Aldridge, and Green. And you kind of got to play Green with someone. I'm probably going to be playing Green with Durant. They sort of run opposite rotations in a way. It's always 2 and 2 on the floor most of the time after in the beginning of the game and at the end of the game and the start of the second half, when they sort of do that mixed rotation there, and they're kind of on the opposite ones most of the time. So that's sort of what I'm doing. At center, my boy Poe is the top center of the day with Jokic, Howard, and Towns, and with a little bit of Adams. That's where we are. You guys got any questions for me in the chat? Feel free to throw them in there. I'm still looking to see if we get any news because I would really like to play. I really want D'Angelo Russell to sit. D'Angelo Russell sits. That opens up Dinwiddie for me a lot more. And if I can squeeze Dinwiddie in at point guard eligible in here. I'm starting to try to get used to looking at looking at some DraftKings salaries again, but I'm not gonna, I'm gonna give you some, like Jarrett Jack's playable on DK. But beside, he's the one DK play that really sticks out to me. I need to get a little bit more version into that. I know, and I'm sorry. But yeah, if I can get Dinwiddie in at 5K at point guard, I'm jumping up over Murray. I'm jumping him up over Jamal Murray. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to be able to get him in. So it's kind of a wait and see game. I'm just going to be looking on Twitter a little bit while we're doing this show. Here's a few. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a different take here as well. If I'm looking from a GPP mindset, Malik Monk at 3,600 on FanDuel. It's high risk. He had a great game last game. He's going to get minutes. I think he's good for at least 20 to 25. It's a blowout. He could see more. So I like Malik Monk a little bit from a GPP standpoint. So when I'm doing it this way, guys, when I'm reiterating these first players, these are players that I really like and will be in the majority of my lineups. If I'm giving you guys off-the-wall plays here towards like the last half of the show, it's because they are players that I like sort of as one-offs if I need a little bit of kind of a swerve while you zig while everyone else is zagging. Another guy, which I think I actually might have mentioned him a little bit, is Cantor. If I'm going off of Porzingis in a lineup, I'm probably going to play Cantor there. Lowry solid, but I actually like Lonzo a little bit more. Bazemore. Bazemore is decent. I believe Schroeder is back tonight. If anyone has seen anything. Otherwise, oh, hold on. Looks like we just got some news. Jimmy Butler is playing tonight. Doesn't change much. I like that it's a late announcement as far as roster lock. I might squeeze him into one lineup, and it does look like Schroeder's playing as well. D'Angelo Court 5 minutes ago from Brian Lewis of the New York Post. D'Angelo Russell was on the court testing his knee. So we should find out here shortly, I hope, if he's playing. If he's playing, we're not playing Dinwiddie. If he's not playing, then Dinwiddie is definitely a cash game play for me. Give you guys a little bit more of a mix-up here. Bellinelli's been off to a hot start. If you want to throw him into a lineup, I have no issues there. Aaron Gordon as well. He's another high-priced power forward that I think's playable. If you want to get, I wouldn't. I'm not playing him. I think people are going to chase that last game, that off-the-wall game, in my opinion. So that's where I stand with him. No other news yet. I'm really just waiting on this Dinwiddie news for you guys, so I can give you a little bit, a little bit better idea of what I want to do in that situation. Gotta get Harden into a lineup. That is something that we have to do. I think that's something you have to do too. You have to get Harden into at least one lineup. But then again, Kemp's defense isn't bad. So if you can't get him into a lineup, I guess I can't get mad at you. Maybe that takes me a little bit off of Jeff Teague. I had Jeff Teague in like 2 lineups. With the Butler news, maybe that takes me a little bit off of Teague. So there is that. So I am doing a little switch here. Just to let you guys know, I just came off of Draymond in a lineup because I just threw in a different point guard. And I am going to have a little told you guys you needed to have a little bit of this guy here, if possible. Well, I didn't tell you that, but I told you I liked this. I like the game tonight in RHJ. But man, that's so hard. It's so hard for me to hit that button on the lineup with Rondae Hollis Jefferson. He's a guy that burned me so much last year. Shouldn't dwell in the past. I think I've already said that. So we're actually going to go down to Ryan Anderson, and I'm going to go up at a different position because that's what we do here at Hoop Ball. We make bold calls. We make huge changes, and we stick to our guns and play these guys that we tout. Prince last night, he's a Hoop Ball guy. He let me down a little bit, but like I said, I had a good night last night. So he's going to be back. He's going to be back on the board after tonight. He just doesn't fit with my makeup of the game tonight. This lineup. This is definitely a cash lineup right here, fellas and ladies. If you're out there, this is definitely a cash lineup. It's getting put in. This is the other half of the cash games. I'm a last minute kind of guy. I build. I'm a multitasker here. I'm going to build lineups, and I'm going to give you guys your news as it comes through. I'm having a lot of these guys I talked about, I have it on my teams. So you always need to remember that. You can always look for me on the leaderboards on FanDuel. Dorrett. There's no real in front of it. It's just D Dorrett. You guys want to see who I got in my lineup? See if I'm giving you the same plays I'm playing. I'm a person of my word, and I give you guys the play that I'm playing. We got about 35 minutes here to lineup lock. You guys got any questions for me? I can roll back through these plays one more time if you need me to. If you just jumped into the stream, thanks for jumping in. If you've been here and you've been back, thanks for coming back. And I hope I'm winning you some money. Give me some shout outs. Let me know how you guys have been doing since I started doing this for you guys. And I just came here to hoop ball. Let me know how it's going for you guys. Nothing interesting here on the tweet machine so far. So that's where we are. Did not mean to rhyme that. We got a little bit more money than we would like to have left over in a cash game. So, but sometimes it's like when you look at these lineups and you're just like, man, I'm okay with that. Should I really change it? And you just got to tell yourself, no, leave it the way it is. It's 500. I think I've told you guys I'm comfortable with like 300. But when I look at this lineup and I look at players I can go up to, I'm not touching any of these players so far. Going back through position by position. I feel like I have the best play possible at each one. All right, so run back through this one more time. Top point guard play. Most of my lineups, Kemba Walker. At shooting guard, we have Eric Gordon and Gary Harris. They're the top two guys in most of my lineups. I have to squeeze Harden into one here in a few seconds. Small forward, we have Kevin Durant and DeMarre Carroll. DeMarre Carroll is a solid player. He has been making people a lot of money here, and I hope I'm not jumping on this too late. I feel like he's still a little underpriced, and I thought it was a fluke, and it is not. Top overall play of the day will be in 90% of my lineups. That is none other than Kristaps Porzingis. And then we have LMA and Draymond Green, the other two guys that I'm looking at power forward in the majority of my plays. We have at the center position, my boy Poe. Poe is my top center of the day. All right, guys. So if we don't have any questions coming through, I've kind of ran through everything. It's not a deep slate. It's only a 7-gamer, so it's a little bit harder to kind of just ramble on with no one else on here with me. Games, those 10 gamers and 8 gamers are a little bit easier. If I am going through, I'll kind of run through each game by game really quick too. Give me a second while I just pull it up. So Spurs at Magic. The guys that I like in this game from the Magic side of the ball, if I'm going to play any at all, it's going to be Eric Gordon. And if you want to take a shot with Vooch, go ahead. The Spurs side of the ball, we have LaMarcus Aldridge and DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is a fellow that scares me a little bit, but I'm going to have him. He's in that minute split with Patty Mills. Let's just hope he gets hot and Pop sticks with him. Let's move on to the Rockets-Hornets game. This is a game I have a decent amount of interest in. I keep telling you guys I have to fit James Harden into a lineup, so that is what I'm going to do. Harden will be forced into a lineup. Eric Gordon is one of my favorite shooting guard plays of the day as well. I'm perfectly fine, if you can, fitting Harden and Gordon in the same lineup. Gordon's running that second unit when Harden's off the court, and looks like sites are finally starting to catch on to that. Another guy is Ryan Anderson and a little bit of PJ Tucker. I'm cool with all of those guys. Moving over to the Hornets side of the ball. Dwight Howard is a good play today. I think he is going to eat. I did overlook him a little bit earlier on. Also have Kemba Walker and I'm off Jeremy Lamb. If you're gonna play him, I don't really have a problem with it. They're the three guys I'm looking at in that game. Denver at Atlanta. And Jamal Murray, the other Murray, and Gary Harris, and a little bit of the Joker. He's a good guy. I like him. I'm going to continue on to the Atlanta side of the ball. I'm kind of off of Atlanta tonight. Blaze some more of your money. by all means, play Kemp Bazemore. No, I'm just kidding. He's a good play tonight. I like him. Huge GPPs. Before I move on to the next game, just checking any news. Nope, no news on our boy D'Angelo Russell. That's really what we're waiting on to see if Dinwiddie is going to get in. Get into a lineup tonight. All right, and now let's move on to a game that interested. Speaking of Dinwiddie, the Nets at the Knicks, the Battle of New York. Interesting. A few years ago, we had Damari Carroll, who I'm pretty high on at small forward because small forward is abysmal. It's terrible tonight. And then we have Spencer Dinwiddie. Like I said, if D'Angelo Russell is out, I like Dinwiddie a lot more if he's out. I might have him in a few GPP lineups if he's in, but I will not have any D'Angelo Russell. Moving over to the Knicks side of you can play RHJ too. I just can't do it. I'm not over last year yet. To the Knicks side of the ball, Porzingis, who I said is my top play of the day. Cantor is a okay center play. Him and Tim Hardaway Jr. Maybe as a GPP flyer. Out of the slump soon. Moving on to the next game, OKC at Minnesota. We have from the OKC side, I like Steven Adams a lot. Melo, I think, is a little underrated, and you should have him in at least a lineup. He could go off. Westbrook, you can always play him. And on Paul George, I don't know, maybe it's that last game. He just didn't do much. He fouled out. But, you know, Paul George is Paul George, so if you're going to play him, I can't get mad at you for it. I'm not going to tell you, no, don't play Paul George, because he is a player. And then moving over to the Timberwolves side of the ball, Karl Anthony Towns and possibly Jeff Teague. Might come off Teague a little bit, though, with Butler being back. On to the next game, we have the Wizards and Golden State. I kind of gave my feelings. I like John Wall a little bit. He's been playing really good. Maybe Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal scares me a little bit with that Clay defense. 3-and-D player in Clay. So I'm not too high on the Wizards. I feel like they're all at the top of their prices as well. But the other side of the ball, I definitely want a little bit of action. KD will be in a lot of my lineups as well, just because of how bad small forward is. If I can get 50 fantasy points at 10.1, sure, I'll take that, right? Draymond's in play as well. And you have Steph, who's coming in at 9.5. He's still shooting guard eligible as DraftKings, so he's still in play over there as well. If you want to sprinkle Clay in, I thought Clay was going to be a little bit more pass happy. But he still finished the game with 22 points because he's doing this whole 3-game thing where he's donating money. Last game we're going to talk about here, Toronto at the Lakers. Toronto, we have my boy Poe, who's I'm interested in. Lowry possibly, but I like Lonzo a little bit more on the other side of this. Lonzo's kind of the only guy I'm on from the Lakers. Maybe I'll sprinkle in a little. He might be starting to heat up, but I'm not touching really any of the other wings. But yeah, guys, so I don't really have any questions. I've kind of covered pretty much everything, every way possible. Really quick, looks like I might have a couple new people in here. That's the case. Really quick, I'm going to stay on for about another 5 minutes, but then I'm going to sign off. Run through everything. If you're new, kind of position by position really quick. I'm going to give you the top play at each position, my favorite play at each position, my expensive play at each position, and then my bargain play at each position. So that's going to be my top play, my favorite play, my expensive play, and my bargain play. So back one more time. Kemba at point, Gordon at shooting guard, Durant at small forward, Kristoff is my top overall player of the day and my top power forward of the day, and Poe at center. My favorite play of the day is Steph, Harden, forced into a lineup because I can't force him into a lineup. This is not Durant would be the top expensive small forward, but since I've already said him, Damari Carroll at small forward is the other small forward I like a lot. And then at power forward, it is a tie between LaMarcus Aldridge and Draymond Green. In that tie, I'm going with Aldridge a little bit over Green, but Green is 800 less. At center, Anthony Towns. The Butler news does not affect Towns, in my opinion, at all. My bargain play, value play, whatever you want to call it, at each position, it's DeJounte Murray. Points though bother me a little bit. So if you want to go Jamal Murray, I can't blame you. Cheaper and possibly just as effective. At shooting guard, we have Manu Ginobili. Gary Harris coming in at 5K. He's definitely underpriced in my opinion. PJ Tucker at small forward, and if you want to get Iggy with it, I'm probably not doing it. Just because I like the way other guys fit a little bit better. At power forward, Ryan Anderson. I'm really cheap, Mike Beasley. I can't recommend. No, I take that back. I can't recommend Mike Beasley. And at center, I'm going to give you guys a different name because Poe would be kind of the value center. But you have Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard should have a really good game today. All right, guys. I am actually going to sign off. I have a little bit more lineup building to do like this, but not really getting that much interaction in the chat today. Hard to sit here and talk to yourself. So with that, you guys can, if you guys want to shoot me a tweet within the next 20 minutes up to lineup block, by all means, go ahead. I will respond to your tweet right away. But for that, you know what I'm about to say. Follow me on Twitter. If you guys need to shoot me a tweet, go ahead. I'm going to stay in the chat till 7 p.m. so you can shoot a message in here as well if you just jump in and you don't see this. And you can tweet me at Real D Dorrett. But with that, I'm out.